is dead. But let's talk about the story of the hour.
Yes, let's get into it.
So the last 72 hours have been fucking amazing because, you know, I went through the 2008 financial crisis and only one person went to jail for the mortgage crisis that was caused entirely by Wall Street. And then we had massive protests in the street in New York called the Occupy Wall Street movement, and it accomplished dick. And then by the time they got tired of it, then Mike Bloomberg had cops go out with water hoses and extinguish the whole thing.
Yes.
So, and it was probably like my first black pill moment because like also like Obama like you know the CARES Act usurped this, but it was a giant. Like everybody lost their fucking house, and then Obama signed over. Like we had to bail out the banks, which is this giant upward transfer of wealth. And all these ghouls that caused this crisis to happen ended up just getting bonuses, essentially.
Did you see the transfer of wealth from the pandemic was entirely equal? Mm-hmm. Billionaires got, or whatever, the elite got $3.9 billion richer, and poor people lost $3.7 billion. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Isn't that amazing how it evens out? It's like the scales of injustice.
I think like the CARES Act, the first one they did when the pandemic first started was $3.6 trillion, and I think only 1.3 went to people.
Fucking hell, dude.
Yeah, and the rest went to corporations. And we had to bail out the airlines right during that time period, and then they're still laid off a bunch of fucking people, which they were. Yeah. They said we promise we won't lay off people. And so today, in the last like 2 days, finally they're like, because we have found that like there's like no threat of jail because they know that they're never going to jail for anything they do, these Wall Street people. But when you fuck with their money, they get fucking crazy.
Yeah, Redditors figured out the secret to people who make a buttload of money based on whatever they want using the stock market.
So, let me explain what happened to you guys that don't know. So, I'm not even doing it justice because these regulations the SEC has come up with, that what Wall Street's allowed to do is such a tangled web of bullshit that it's even hard. Like, even reading about what a short was confusing, and I already kind of know what it is. But I figured like the most simple way to explain what a stock shorted, like shorting a stock, what this is that a company will get a loan from like a hedge fund group, or traders will get a loan from a hedge fund group, and then basically what they'll do is they'll sell the stock at a certain price once it gets to like the lowest point, and if it keeps going down, then the hedge fund will rebuy the stock and they'll make the profit that's in the middle. Yes. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So what happened is a bunch of autistic Redditors got on top of this. It's like it was the r/Wall Street Bets.
Wall Street Bets.
Yeah. So they noticed this trend that they were doing this with companies that, and I think GameStop really hit home because most people that are on Reddit are gamers as well. Mm-hmm. And kind of like Toys R Us, I mean, it's like a part of our childhood that, by the way, hedge funds killed Toys R Us as well. So like during this time, and the way that stock shorting also works is that these ghouls will use another apparatus that they have control of, which is the media, to go on TV and say, GameStop it's crashing, guys. And so they'll just keep bringing the stock down to where they want it. And so it's this giant fucking Ponzi scheme, essentially, to end up just funneling wealth back up while a business ends up crumbling to the ground. But gamers take this shit seriously. So what they did was they, like this whole Reddit group, and I'm sure like it expanded way beyond even just Reddit.
Oh, for sure.
Started buying up the stock. So just for perspective, it was when they were about to short the stock, it was at $20 a share.
Yeah.
It's now at $369 a share.
Holy shit.
And for reference, this is more than like Johnson & Johnson. Like it is now so hyper
Alaskan
inflated.
Airlines, many companies it is ahead of.
Right. So these hedge funds, it's two different companies. I think I wrote it down. It's Melvin Capital and Citron Capital. They lose close to $2.75 billion. And I think it's up to like $3.2 billion now that they've lost.
Wow.
And they're not getting it back.
Well,
so
good.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, like that's the thing is like.
Like those guys.
What's so funny to me is like watching like first of all, what's so interesting is watching the entire media apparatus scramble to try to say this is illegal somehow. It's like, nope, totally legal. We're just doing what you fuckers have been doing forever that fuck us over and you all get richer. This is like the best us versus them thing I've heard in years.
What they've been doing for so long is like it's not insider trading by a technicality. You know, they are absolutely controlling the value of these stocks. And now that we're doing it, they don't want us to.
Because, I mean, like
they want to say it's illegal.
Well, exactly, because like I said, and because like these like the graph of rich people's feelings, the stock market is like, you know, why would it be that someone now mainstream MSNBC talking heads and CNN are saying how bad this is, while they would do like a whole story because they were instructed to, like people like Rachel Maddow and all these fucking idiots will go on TV to talk about how like, oh, GameStop is, you know, one of the last brick and mortar game stores is going the way of Blockbuster. And it's like, she got fucking told to do that by Citron Capital, because Citron Capital probably has a stake in these news companies. And like, I don't know if she actually did this. I'm just using her as an example. But as an aside to that, it's really fucking interesting. So Tucker Carlson naturally said this is awesome. You know what I mean? Because he's become just a weird based populist all of a sudden. But you know who also said it on Fox News? Sean fucking Hannity.
Whoa.
I know.
That is wild.
I know. So like they're again upside down. So so what's I want to go through like just some like general media takes on this.
I love this one. Yeah.
So this is just sort of the
one of the upsides of whenever the internet does anything good.
So do you want to read this one?
The media has to report on it.
This is from Market Watch, which is like an NPR program.
At the source of the madness, the Reddit Wall Street Bets forum, there's a fascinating, if not safe for work, thread discussing the end game for GameStop. It's rapidly becoming apparent that we will soon enter the GME end game. Before you come up with an exit strategy, or if you're still on the fence, decide whether to jump in, you need to form an opinion about the GME bull thesis without considering the short squeeze, says this user, Thick Dad's Club.
With 2 C's. So like that's been funny. It's like watching the media have to critically report on like Reddit usernames, like, you know, Dildo Stuffer 69. Del Reese makes a good point. He says it, like, and I'll bring this up a little bit later because this is part of like the media machine now working to kill this as fast as they can.
Yeah.
He says it's insane, and since poor people started crushing them, they shut down trading. The media is saying Redditors should be charged for manipulating the market, in big quotes. And they banned their Discord for hate speech.
Jesus Christ.
Right. And then
what?
And then their subreddit went private because they're trying to make sure that doesn't get shut down too.
Jesus.
But there's even more to that. So let me make sure, because I need to pull this one away.
Yeah, sure thing.
This was just mine I was reading earlier. But we might as well kind of just skim over this a little bit. This kind of like gives a synopsis in case I missed anything.
Yeah.
This is from Bloomberg. Yeah, from
Bloomberg, yeah. Citadel 0.72 back Melvin with $2.75 billion after their losses. Hedge fund titans Ken Griffin and Steve Cohen boosted Gabe Plotkin's Melvin Capital. Can you scroll back up a little bit? Sorry, finish that sentence. Injecting a total of $2.75 billion into the firm after it lost 15% in the first 3 weeks of the year. Citadel funds and firm partners will invest $2 billion, while 0.72 asset management's investment will be $750 million, the firm said Monday. And how old is this article?
It's from today.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, okay. but this is it's before the closing of today, so they've lost even more money.
Yeah. The capital infusion comes after Melvin Capital, which started the year with about $12.5 billion in assets, has seen short bets, including on GameStop Corp, go awry, spurring big losses, according to a person familiar with the firm. This year's stumble is rare for Plotkin. Melvin Capital firm has returned an average 30% a year since it started in 2014. Gabe Plotkin and team have delivered exceptional results over the history of Melvin, said
really short.
Ken Griffin. We have great confidence in Gabe and his team. In a statement, Cohen said that he has known Plotkin since 2006, and he's an exceptional investor and leader. Plotkin spent 8 years at Cohen's predecessor firm, SAC Capital Advisors, and has been one of that shop's most successful spinouts. Cohen previously invested about $1 billion in Melvin. I'm incredibly proud to partner with Ken Griffin and Steve Cohen, Plotkin said. The team at Melvin is eager to get to work and reward the confidence of these two great investment icons.
So basically, all like this is just Bloomberg doing damage control on like, no, these guys actually aren't terrible investors.
Right.
But they lost this much money, but they're not terrible investors. This is, well, now we find out how the media is going to try to spin this. So this was one of my favorite takes on Twitter. So this is where the media is going to start with it.
Oh, that's right. This is Ali Byerland.
He writes for Mother Jones, which is like a fucking nauseating left outlet.
I can report from the Telegram channels that the Nazis appear to be trading GameStop and AMC as well.
Ooh, it's so the Nazis
scary.
Now. So that one didn't work. No, it didn't land with anybody. So now they're doing.
So stupid.
Now they're doing this.
Well, I don't know if they're concentrated because I don't have subpoena power and I can't really go out and look at it. I could argue I don't even know if there are foreign powers at work here because
Jesus
trying to
Christ.
make chaos up our markets.
So it's the Russians now that are doing this as well.
Foreign powers. Jesus Christ.
What's been so great about this, though, is that everybody, like the far left people I know, the far right people I know, everybody unanimously loves this, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the Nazi glasses thing, this is really pulling the mask off of it. And like I quoted that idiot's tweet about Nazis, and I'm like, watch very closely how the media uses the word Nazi and why they use it and how they use it, because it's pretty interesting.
Yes.
There's another video I want to play. Do you remember that guy who was on? He was on like I think it was like I think it's Fox Business. Let me make sure. I don't know. Oh, it's on CNBC. It's like the business channel. This guy came on.
I do remember this.
He came on a while back.
We played it on the show.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to say his name. It's Chamath
Palihapitiya.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. So he came on and like gave this really base thing like probably over a year ago about just how the stock market is fucked up and it's fucking over poor people. And then he went on today and did this.
Degree can see their stocks rise in this magnitude, and all of that is just fine, that there's nothing wrong with the integrity of the system if that is occurring?
The lack of integrity in the system is the precursor that caused GameStop to be sold short 136% and for people to try to pile on and destroy a company in front of our eyes. That to me feels wrong. That feels pretty un-American if you ask me. I think GameStop is a reasonable business. I think what they do is reasonable. And so the fact that they shouldn't be allowed to exist because all of a sudden, like, we decide that they should be obliterated into the ground.
Well, they should be allowed to exist. They should be allowed to exist at whatever their stock should be valued at based on what their earnings are. And the stock was like
free market
$17, $18 not that long ago.
Who says
Yeah, the free market. It's the free market.
Yeah.
Do you want to make the same argument about Tesla? It's gone 10x in a few months. You don't know what it's worth. Let's be honest. Okay?
You don't think that Tesla's growth prospects?
Scott, I have my own
not that
model
much.
for the company. I'm allowed to underwrite however I want to own it. Everybody that bought that stock is also underwriting how they want to own it. And the point is, just because you're wrong doesn't mean you get to change the rules, especially when you were wrong, you got bailed out the last time. That's not fair.
Fuck.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that these investors who were short the stock were necessarily wrong. I mean, I still haven't heard you tell me what the fundamental case is for GameStop at
free market.
$350.
It's a free market.
AMC
You fucking retard.
Theaters, which have been closed for months and
we'll get into
months,
that.
Is worth what the stock's trading at now, or any number of these things. The way that they're trading, there's no fundamental reason why they're there. They're trading because there's this momentum cohort behind it, whether it's on Reddit or Robinhood or wherever else.
All right, could it be any more clear that the elites don't know how to talk to normal people?
Seriously.
Like, this guy has no fucking idea how detached this reality is. Like, no. They don't, these people don't have $1 billion to throw at this, so they don't really matter that much. Do you not understand what I'm saying? And this guy's like, no, but this is the free market at work. Like, it doesn't really matter what GameStop is worth. Like, the market dictates what it's worth.
Exactly.
No, but they don't have I said it already, they don't have $1 billion to throw at it. They're just normal people with like Robinhood is like a stock trading app.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, like, but they're just using fucking Robinhood, like an Acorn. Like, they don't know about stocks, and they don't. It just is so. This is such the mask fucking slipping.
Exactly.
So fucking hard.
Ghouls are showing themselves in daylight. In broad daylight.
It's so fucking great. And so, like, dude, and that, by the way, then he brought up AMC, which is the next target they've been going after. AMC is like, now their stock has just fucking jumped through the roof because hedge funds are trying to screw them over. I think probably at the behest of hedge funds that are funding movie studios that also don't want movie theaters to have any power over the release of movies anymore.
Yeah.
And then also, like, they're going after Tootsie Roll and BlackBerry, which is like because they're just looking for all the stocks that are being hedge fund funded, and then just throwing money into them. And like, look, it's a dumb gamble, and like eventually these things are going to like burst. But like at the same time, if it's a bunch of people throwing in not a bunch of money to make it just balloon to this level,
yeah,
great. I mean, it's worth the investment.
Yeah,
like just to watch these people fucking squirm. Also, too, so because the NASDAQ had such a serious issue with this, they've now made it so you can know almost every single company that does trading, you can no longer trade GameStop stock. They've now shut it down until further review. So, and then I actually just got a thing on my phone right before we started that says...
Jesus Christ.
It says... Oh, shit. Where'd it go? So this is from CNBC. Breaking SEC releases statement on ongoing market volatility, saying it is working with our fellow regulators to assess the situation and review the activities of regulated entities, financial intermediaries, and other market participants.
Wow.
So let's see. I'll read their thing here. It says, we are aware of the activity monitoring the ongoing market volatility in the options of equities markets and consistent with our mission to protect investors and maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets. We are working with our fellow regulators to assess the situation and review the activities of regulated entities, blah, 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 blah. So, but again, how is what they're doing any different? Because, what a hedge fund is a wealth management group that takes a bunch of rich people's money and just holds on to it and then makes these terrible bets, which is why, something like Bernie Madoff was allowed to happen, right?
Yeah.
Also why the housing crisis happened. So and why also people got fucking rich off of the housing collapse, because some very smart people like Michael Burry, for example, who was in the Big Short, he's the real guy with the glass eye, who's now saying this is atrocious, which is very interesting to me. So what he did was he is such an autist that he was starting to look at these mortgages that were bundled, like these C-rated risky mortgages being bundled and repackaged as A+ safe mortgages that people were gobbling up and buying because they were at great prices. And he started to see that it was starting to go down. So he took all of his capital's money and just shorted all the stocks. So he made hundreds of millions of dollars off of the collapse of the whole thing. And so that's why during the housing crisis, that without government intervention, people did get very, very rich. Mm-hmm. So it's just a ghoulish practice in general. I mean, it's really just profiteering off of failure. And it's gross, and and how it's legal. I'm wondering what's going to happen. But the best part of this has been, you know how I always say that identity politics is used to make it so we don't pay left or right, black or white, gay or straight. We don't pay attention to what we all have in common is that we're not them.
Exactly.
Everyone's seeing it now.
Yeah.
It cannot be any more fucking clear. And I just hope everyone looks at the fucking pundit class, the media class, the ones that are not being honest about this and really go, maybe they're not telling us the truth about a lot of fucking things. Maybe we shouldn't listen to them anymore. Right. Maybe they're kind of outdated. Maybe this is dinosaur media. Maybe this is bullshit. So, but, it just doesn't end. So here's our buddy GG, Glenn Greenwald, says, those who have spent years begging and pleading with Silicon Valley to aggressively police speech and content have single-handedly gutted one of the key initial values of the internet, empowering people to compete with corporate and political power centers. This is what you built. And this is them talking about Justin Discord to shut down the Wall Street Bet server for hate speech, glorifying violence, and spreading misinformation.
What the fuck?
A spokesperson for Discord tells me, to be clear, we did not ban the server due to financial fraud related to GameStop or other stocks.
Oh, bullshit. Shut the fuck up.
Such bullshit. So, yeah, and then they made a second one. They banned that one too for the same terms of service violations. But then this is the problem. Then you always have people like this.
In fairness, that server was 100% racism and threats of violence. Just a weird time to shut it down.
Yeah, how often was Skylar, do you think, in the Wall Street bets? I
don't think Skylar's ever set foot in Wall Street bets.
I bet Skylar's 14,
until today,
but has a Twitter account, which she shouldn't. So I think that's about all. I mean, is there anything you wanted to add on that one? But this has been my favorite fucking story of the day.
Yeah, just don't let people convince you that Reddit doing this is a bad thing.
I mean, I think fortunate. I mean, we'll cut this clip up obviously, but I think fortunately the people who listen to us fucking know this.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, I hate to bring identity politics up, but I mean, this is the shit they're trying to prevent you from realizing.
Yeah.
By being ooh, your blackness is, you're really, really fucking, you're gay, you're really, really oppressed. It's really bad for you. And the straight man is holding you down. And it's I'm looking at my fellow straight man, even if he's saying faggot, and I'm like, he's fucking poor like I am. So maybe we should just get over our differences and do this.
Basket.